All right, so we are going to be working through lesson 1.3. So the things that you're going to need are this book and your green folder, okay? And we're going to open up your textbook to, let's just actually start on page 14, okay? So these two things out. And then the other thing you might want is the number lines if you want to do some counting from the very back of your folder. So I'm going to go ahead and actually just open that and take that out. You might want to do that while working through this. I'm going to open up the grommets, pull out that paper, and then close it up again. Okay. So, because I might want to see these number lines to help me with a little bit of counting. Okay. Turn it back to 1, 3. Okay. So I got kind of 3 things out, and a pencil too. So I got my pencil, this number line out, and then my textbook. All right, so here's what 1-3 says. From Sana to Snowbank, we're going to be using a number line, okay, in this lesson today. So the goal of the lesson is to use a number line to represent a problem or a change, okay? And we'll also be doing a little bit of algebra with this because we're going to try and also do some variables, okay? To give you a little intro to this, I'm going to play this little video that goes along with this Sana to Snowbank question. Okay, so here we go.
Mikey's trying something new to de-stress. He's heard saunas are great for relaxing, so here he goes. Inside the sauna, it's 100 degrees. But real sauna goers like it even hotter, so Mikey throws some water on the basket of hot rocks by the stove. Phew! Watch that thermometer reading rise by 20 degrees. Looks like Mike's had enough. Wow, he's really sweating now. Ah, that's better. It's about negative 20 degrees outside. That'll cool you off pretty fast, old buddy. Wow, Mikey, now you're really shaking. I think you've had enough of the temperature extremes. Let's take a walk and get you a sweater and a nice cup of hot chocolate. Think of a thermometer as a number line. How much of a temperature change did Mikey experience?
Okay, so let's think about that problem, okay? And basically in here, we've got those number lines. Okay, let's try to open this a little more. All right, so he got in that sauna and it was 120 degrees. And then when he went outside, the temperature dropped down to negative 20. Okay, so how much of a change was it from that 120 to a drop of negative 20? How much of a temperature change? All right, so one way that we could do this is look at a number line. It was 120. And then how much, so we don't know, so n, how much did it change to get down to negative 20, okay? And we could write this as a number sentence. It started at 20, or 120, and then it changed by something, and we got to negative 20. What do you think the temperature change was? Did you think the temperature change was negative 140, okay? Negative 140. All right, so why was n negative 140? Well, if we're at 120 and we drop 120 just to get to 0, we'd have to drop 20 more, so 120 plus another 20 to get to a temperature of negative 20. So it would have been a total drop of 140 degrees. So we could say the change was negative 140. All right, so that's kind of the idea that we're going to work with to answer some of these questions. All right, so what I'd like you to do next is to go ahead and we're going to turn to page 16 in our physical textbook to find some of these questions. And then we're going to turn in our book to this page. Okay, so I guess it's on page 5. All right, so let's go ahead and just recreate this like it was on the previous page and answer question A. So here's question A right here. A person goes from a sauna at 115 degrees to an outside temperature of negative 130. What was the change in temperature? All right, so I'm going to model this for you. So I'm going to start at 115, okay, on my number line. And then I'm going to negative 30. So I'm thinking, where would that be relative to this? Well, negative 30 is going to be smaller on this side. So I'm going to draw a negative 30 here. Oops, negative 30. And then my question is, what is the change in temperature? So I want to know how much of a change is this? So going from here to here. So I'm going to draw my arrow because it was 115 and went down to negative 30. My change I'm going to call n. That's what I'm going to try and figure out. Okay, so here's what my number sentence would look like. 115 plus n. So some n change is going to equal negative 30. Okay, so if I was at 115, how much would I have to go down to get to negative 30? Okay, so I could maybe look at my big number line on the back. So if I was at, let's see, 115, that's going to be somewhere around here. And I was trying to get to negative 30, somewhere around here. How far would I need to go? Well, do you see how that zero is kind of in between here? Well, if I got to 0, I would have traveled 115, and then I passed 0 and I travel 30 more. So I'm going to travel a total of 145. But since I went down, I'm going to say that n is negative 145. Okay, so I dropped 145 degrees. Okay, all right, let's look at B. B number 1, we're going to start at 25. Okay, and so I'm looking at my book. It says the temperature reading on the thermometer is 25 degrees at noon. During the afternoon, the temperature changes. What is the new reading for each temperature change? All right, so I'm going to just do number 1 first. What if it rises 10 degrees? So what did it say I'm starting at? Starting at 25. Okay, and now this one, unlike that one, is telling us how much it's changing. It's rising 10 degrees. So I'm rising 10 degrees, and this is my thermometer, with this being the hotter temperatures and that being the lower temperatures. Think, which way am I going? I'm going to rise. I'm going to go to the right on my thermometer. Okay, and how much am I going to go to the right? I'm going to go to the right 10. And then my question was, what is the new reading? So that's what I don't know. So it's going to end up at n. Okay. All right. So let's see what this will look like as a number sentence. 25 plus, how much is my temperature change? 10 equals n. So where would I end up? If I was at 25 and I went up 10, where would I end up? Okay. So if you need this to help you, you can look at your number line. Okay. So I'm kind of here at 25. Okay, I'm going up 10, just a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to end up, did you think that n was 35? Okay, so now it says, what if instead of rising 10, B number 2 says, what if I fall 2 degrees? Okay, so I'm starting at 25, my number line. But this time I'm falling. So what do you think I'm going to do if I'm falling? Is my arrow going to go to the right or to the left? Falling. Okay, so I'm going to go back 2 degrees. And then I'm going to end up somewhere. All right, so the number sentence, what would that look like? Did you write 25 plus negative 2 equals n? So if I was at 25 on my number line and I went down 2 degrees, I dropped 2 degrees, what would the current temperature be? Okay, so figure that out. Did you get 23? Okay, let's look at B number 3. B number 3 says, what if I'm starting at 25 and now I fall 30? Okay, so I'm starting at 25, fall 30. So let's see, falling. That would be going up 30, but I'm falling 30. So I'm going to go back 30. So I make my arrow this way, drop 30. Where am I going to end up? Okay, if I'm at 25 and I drop 30. So 25, drop 30, where would I end up? So think about that. Is that going to end up being actually below 0? Because if I would have dropped 25, that would get me to 0. and I'm dropping all the way to negative 30. So where would I end up? Did you think you'd end up at negative 5 degrees? Okay, 5 degrees, because I'd go 25 to get to 0, and then I'd have to go 5 more past 0, so it'd be negative 5. Okay, so now we're going to look at question C. So here are 3 questions for question C. Let's do the first one. So question C, the temperature reading on a thermometer is negative 15. What's the new reading for each temperature change? Okay, so now I'm starting in the negatives. So I'm starting at negative 15. Okay, and it says plus 3. So what do you think that's doing? Is that rising or falling? Okay, so hopefully you thought it was rising. So I'm going to go up 3 this direction. And then where am I going to end up? So I'm at negative 15. I'm going to go up 3. Where would I end up? Okay, so and if you want to use your number line to help you, I'm at negative 15. I go up 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, did you think that n would equal negative 12? All right, so part C number 2 says, what if I'm at negative 15 and I go negative 10? So now I'm going to fall. Okay, so now we're looking at C number 2. Okay, so I'm at negative 15. This time I'm falling, okay, because it said negative 10. So I'm falling 10. So I'm going to go this way, negative 10, and then where I'm going to end up. Okay, so let's convert that to a number sentence. So my first number is where I'm starting. My second number is what I'm changing. And then this is where I'm ending up. Where do I end up? Okay, so and again, if you want to use your number line, we maybe could. If I'm at negative 15, I'm going to fall 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm already at negative 20. I've got to go 5 more. Where do you think I'm going to end up? Okay, did you think you'd end up at negative 25? Okay, let's look at C3. Okay, again, I'm going to start at negative 15. For C3, though, it says, let's see, plus 40. So what does that mean? Okay, plus 40, that means I'm rising 40 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to go which way? Up 40. Where am I going to end up? So if I'm at negative 15 and the temperature goes up 40 degrees, where would I end up? Okay, you can use this number line if that helps you. So I'm at negative 15. I'm going to go up 40. So this would be up 10, 20, 30. Oops, okay, it kind of counts off. So I have to go up 10 more from 15. Did you think you'd be at 25? All right, let's look at D. D asks something a little bit differently. It says, what is the change in temperature? Okay, so now we know the starting point and the ending point. We're trying to figure out how much it changes. Okay, so number 1 says I'm starting at 20 and I'm going to negative 10. Okay, starting at 20. So again, if I'm thinking on this number line, I'm starting at 20, going to all the way down here to negative 10. All right, so let's draw this on a number line. I'm starting at 20, but I'm going, for D number 1, I don't know how much I'm going, but how much am I going to get to negative 10? All right, so here's what our number sentence should look like. Starting at 20, where am I going to get to negative 10? Okay, so how much would the temperature have had to drop to get to negative 10? Oops, 25 starting at 20. Okay. All right, so did you think you'd have to drop 30? Okay. If you weren't sure, you could try and figure that out on your number line. Okay, D number 2 says I'm starting at negative 20 and I'm going to negative 10. Starting now at negative 20. Now if I think on this number line, here's negative 20 and then here's negative 10. Okay, so So negative 20 is here. I'm going to negative 10. So I'm actually going up. Okay, so think about what kind of answer n should be. Starting at negative 20, going up, and ending at negative 10. So I actually went up this time, not down. Okay, so how much would I have to go up? And if it helps you to use this number line, you can. Just count how many up. You should have ended up with 10. Okay, D number 3 says I'm starting at negative 20 and I'm going to 10. Negative 20 going to 10. So this time I'm starting at negative 20 and I'm going to 10. So going up, 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 up. So if it's negative 20 degrees, how much would the temperature have to change to now become 10 degrees? Okay, use your number line handout if you want. And you should have ended up with 30. Okay, D number 4 says, what if it's negative 10 going to negative 20? All right, so now I'm going to go negative 10 going to negative 20. This is going to be a drop. Okay, so I should end up with an n value that's negative. So I'm starting at negative 10, some kind of change, ending at negative 20. Okay, it dropped. How much did it drop? Did you think it went down 10? So it dropped 10 degrees. That's why it's negative 10. Okay, D number 5, okay, says it's 20 degrees and then it's going to 10. Okay, so 20 degrees going to 10 degrees, dropping. Okay, so 20 degrees, something happens, n, and it gets to 10. What would my n have to equal? Okay, did you think negative 10? It dropped 10 when it went from 20 to 10 degrees. Okay, and then the last one, 6, says what if it's 10 and it goes to 20? So let's say it's 10 degrees and it goes to 20. Now it's going this way. Is the temperature dropping or rising? It looks like it's rising. It's going up. So I should end up with an n value because my arrow is going to the right. That's positive. So 10 plus n equaling 20. How much did it go up? You could count on this little number line if this helps you. Okay, it should have gone up 10. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and just stop there. If you want a little bit of a challenge, okay, you could try and do question E on the back. Okay, and then another optional challenge, if you feel like you're up to it, that stuff was pretty easy, you could go to page 13 in your textbook and try and work out problem F. Okay, all right. So hopefully you understand a little bit about changing temperatures on a number line and how to write that as a number sentence, okay? And then do a little bit of solving for that number sentence.